Definitely, definitely. To be fair, like seeing True perform today is a treat regardless. Like it's amazing he's made it through the players that he has already, and if he's able to take out a player like Zest, like that would be insane to see. And seeing this matchup, it's almost like I don't know if you recall, but we did manage to cast Zest versus Ragnarok earlier
We
on,
did.
weeks ago now. And it was amazing to see Ragnarok with his big brain plays take out Zest. And
Exactly.
True, he's also kind of known. He said it himself that he does have a big brain of his own.
And he does. But
There's that gif. There's that gif
there
where he
is that
like,
gif. But on the flip side, you have Parting, who after beating True said, True, he's a very good player, but sometimes I think he just doesn't, he doesn't use his brain.
these are two
So
very
that's the
accurate
duality.
statements.
That's the duality of True. Right. And speaking of which, here now we are in the lower left-hand corner map, spawning in the lower left-hand corner of the map. As Trap does point out that we are in the best of 5, so thank
Yeah.
you, Zest. I think I said Trap, I meant Zest. We are in Everdream, EDLE, EDLE, which stands for Effervescence Denying Legal Expertise. The Effervescence Denying Legal Expertise. That's a lawsuit and a half. We're here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. It is going to be a red Protoss all the way from the land of Korea. Some know him for being the best. He is representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RYEG. We have Zest.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Korean Zerg player representing Psystorm Gaming. It is the Snack Zerg himself, Zest.
Zest? Good seeing there.
Good. And yeah, we have some interesting openers here to say the least. I believe it was a hatch pool. Oh, there we go.
Thanks, Maddox.
Nice.
See, this is what
Shout
we
out
always...
to Maddox.
Exactly. This is a tip for any up-and-coming casters here. Try to attach yourself to one of the Korean casters. They typically translate the Korean banter, or I suppose it depends on which tournament you're going for. If it's a tournament with a lot of Korean players, find a Korean caster to attach yourself to.
Yeah, Crank, he's really good at it. He usually, like, if there's banter in the lobby chat, then he usually translates it on the fly. Maddox, he's a little bit newer, but he does translate when he can as well. It's really cool to see. They are helping us out, letting us know what's going on.
And it's for that they have our eternal gratitude. So they did do a couple of adjustments to vetoes, but not any adjustments to builds as far as I can see. Which again, it's a weekly tournament. You're not really gonna go into your drawing board of game number 1. I will do this, and that will pin this sort of mindset into my opponent's mind. So then game number 4, they will never suspect this one coming, or whatchamacallit. So yeah, Zest is just going for his favorite build for PvZ at the moment.
Yeah, I was about to say that, we did cast some ZVP earlier today with Rex, and we didn't really see this. We saw more Stargate openers, but Zest going for something that he kind of popularized in IM Katowice. We do see him going for that Twilight Council first. We imagine it is for Glaives. Ooh, okay.
Alright, Zest, switching it up a little bit. This does still fall under the lines of standard PvZ play. The Dark Shrine. It's no longer something that you use just to say, or just under the hopes that your opponent doesn't have detection. It's more of a safe transition into the macro game, I would say, when you go into Archons.
And you know, if you were here for Creator versus Rex, like this is the more standard opener that we see for Archons. We saw Creator go for an early Templar Archives. It was really odd to see because he immediately turned them into Archons as well, and we were like, what? Like normally you see this, normally you see a Dark Shrine instead. So Zest playing it a little bit more standard, opting not to go for those glaives, which you know is interesting to say the least.
True doesn't scout this. Light. True's Overlord is just sort of chilling here in the dead air.
Yeah, we're already well past the 4-minute mark, and none of the Overlords have gone in. So True with a little bit of a late scout here with his Overlords. He doesn't know what he doesn't know what's coming his way. He doesn't have any spores ready. His lair should be done in time, especially if it's just adepts harassing. But we'll see as the first wave of adepts are looking to go into the third base.
And there are some DTs coming in onto the main base as well. And there's again no detection here, Light.
Yeah, there's no detection.
Oh no, Light. The lair's about to finish, but still takes a bit of time to get an Overseer.
Oh my god, the
Good
Queens are getting body
so
blocked
far,
as well.
though.
Yeah, he was trying to focus on the Warp Prism. He was waiting for Lair to finish up for that Overseer. Still no spores.
Right. This is not looking too good for our Blue Zerg player, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, not at all. He loses all his queens as well. He does finally have detection. He will be able to clean this up, but he lost 4 queens and 9 probes, 9 workers.
Not the position you want to be in at all in ZVP, and this is not done yet. Once again, going to be utilizing the multi-prong because Zest, he knows that that one Overseer is the only detection that True has right now. It's going to have to balance itself between 2 different bases. He is getting another Overseer now, but I mean, could have been getting spores.
This is a really rough position to come back from, and again, it did kind of come down to the fact that True...
More drones are dying as they get hatched.
And even now, True, he still hasn't sent an Overlord in. Like, he has 2 Overlords outside the natural and main of Zest, and he just hasn't gone for a scout. He didn't know what was coming his way. He still doesn't know what exactly has been built. I mean, now, since the DTs have dealt so much damage, I'm sure he knows what opener it was, but he just was being so greedy with his play.
Ay. Yeah,
and he was punished for that greed. You know, now we do see the transition. The DTs have been turned into Archons. Now the Archons can also deal some damage, get some value, as they are pretty tanky as well.
Exactly. Punish in a way that, as you said, I don't quite see True coming back from. He is starting to recover a little bit, but again, this damage just keeps piling on and on and on. These Archons, their health hasn't dipped at all yet. They are way too tanky right now for True to deal with, I'm thinking. I like this Warp Prism juggling.
Well, a lot of this comes down to the fact that True lost 4 queens to the DTs. So without those queens, that Warp Prism could just had free reign of the bases and was able to maneuver around. 8 more workers went down. Things just kind of escalated and snowballed in favor of Zest, and now we see the push coming out. Immortals, Sentries, Archons to support.
And what do we always say, Light? What do we always say? When you're going Roach Ravager, an even army is not an even army.
Yeah.
True does not even match with Zest's army. This is looking like it could be a complete rampage on the side of Zest.
Yeah, I mean, the third gets evacuated. True knows that there's no way that he can hold on to that. He's going to have to try his best at his natural. He is morphing in Ravagers, but will they be done in time? It looks like the battle is starting already, and...
I think this is a little way too little too late for True. These force fields are doing such a good job of isolating the units. GG is called, and Zest takes game number 1 in very convincing fashion.
Yeah, that was very convincing, but I would like to remind everyone that this is a best of 5. Losing 1 game isn't as big of a deal as it would be in a best of 3. And we'll see if True is able to, to gather himself, to gather his thoughts, to get back into this, because this, that shouldn't really be a way to lose,
Exactly.
Like as we were going into this,
that's one of the fundamentals.
Yeah, you were even saying, hey, like, these DTs, they don't really end a game. You don't go DTs. You don't go DTs to surprise your opponent. You go DTs to force a reaction, turn them into Archons, and get what damage you can done with the Archons. But so much was done with the DTs, and that's not even what it's meant to do.
I don't think I said those words, but that's definitely what I meant. I'm glad that you were able to translate whatever I said earlier into what But yeah, that's... I don't know, I feel like this is definitely true. Again, we don't really know how his form is. We don't know how the other games have gone. He might not have been... he's been laddering quite a bit lately, but... You know, it's one of these things where... You do get punished for not taking precaution a lot. And that's just what True showed. And speaking of getting punished, we are now here on to the Eternal Empire, ESL, if you will, which does in fact stand for Elephant's Egg. In the top right hand corner of the map, spawning in the top right hand corner of the map, it is going to be our red Protoss, all the way from the land of Korea. He is the Adept Printer himself. He is the PvP master. Some even call him best. Representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RYEge, we have Zest.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the Korean Zerg player representing Psystorm Gaming. It is True.
And he's doing true things. This takes us back to 2015, like, or even 2017, as recently as 2018 even. This is what we love seeing True do.
Yeah, I mean, I do love this. This is a little bit different, though, as we would normally have seen from True back in the day. We've seen Miyamika do this a lot. We've seen, I think Armani did this before as well. It's Ragnarok. This proxy hatchery is a quote-unquote proxy hatchery. It's just there to delay the natural.
Exactly. Delay the natural, force out a couple of units from the Protoss player, and it'll eventually transition into, hopefully, a position where these player is able to capitalize aggressively.
Yeah. I just want to like post like Miyamika's tweet when he won ESL Open Cup Oceania, like
proxy hatcheries get money.
Yeah, boy.
But he finished it.
That
is not a cancel.
Not a cancel. Creeper spread. It will make it even more annoying to clear this up and to expand if you are Zest. And we'll see how this goes, because if I recall, I think it was last week we casted Scarlet. She did this and she lost to the counterattack. I think it was against Zest as well.
I think it was against Trap, actually, now I think about it.
Yeah. It was against one of the Protosses, and she just immediately died because it was Zealots. Remember, Zealots came out across the map.
The Zealots just walked across. Now, to be fair, that was Everdream, which has the shortest rush distance in the current map pool. Eternal Empire, as we were saying, it's a bit of a longer stretch to run, so this could definitely help out True quite a bit. I was gonna say, I'm not too... Yep.
The eggs are being morphed, which further delay the next
so much
going
armor.
down.
Eggs have so much armor on them. The only thing that can really one-shot eggs, to my knowledge, is Liberators. Everything else, it's just sort of chip it away. And these Lings do manage to finish and get a scout out. True, you got to see the Stargate, and he does actually see it.
As opposed to game number one, where he didn't go for an Overlord scout. This time, due to those Lings, he was able to get a full scout of the main base. He knows exactly what the opener is. He has no excuse this time not to prepare himself.
Please, True, get the spores up. I know it's not DTs this time, but you still need spores for air units.
I know you were teammates with patience. I get it. You were teammates.
Back
You
in
lived
the
with
Pixels
patience.
day.
Yes, you lived with patience for quite some time. And he did the same thing. Maybe there's some kind of connection there. I hope not. True,
well,
please.
there's a reason why the team is called Dead Pixels. It's just that it's just that area of the monitor where nothing shows up.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see as the first Oracle is on the way, moving out across the map. So far, no spores. There's no additional queens either. There's one queen for each base. This Oracle can find some damage.
weird. True is normally a player who does like getting a lot of queens, so
yeah.
I mean, he's producing more queens now, but is it too late?
We'll see, as 3 drones have already gone down. That is nicely done for the first Oracle. You know, now the first Oracle can also be used for scouting purposes. There is a second one meeting up with him, so he will probably be diving in again. And I'm worried because True still doesn't have a Spore. He does have 2 queens, which is nice, but their DPS isn't that high. Like, it takes a while for them to chip away at Oracles. Yeah,
best case scenario is have the Oracles target down the queens, have a couple of transfuses, and just have the Oracles waste your energy. But if it's a player like Zest we're talking about, they are on top of the target firing, as you can see, and another 4 drones goes down. These Oracles are still well alive, and they have plenty of energy. Not for long, though.
Yeah. They are sharking around, looking for more angles to dive in and deal more damage. Meanwhile, we do have Zest going for that Templar Archives, looking to get some High Templar, potentially for Archons, potentially to eventually get Storm.
Well, he does know that he's up against True. He is a player that is known for liking his Lings. You really cannot blame him for prioritizing Storm over DTs.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see, as so far, those Oracles, they didn't really get to scout too much when it comes to what True is doing. You know, that Roach Warren is hidden in the back of the main base. Still, we do have that lair on the way as well. So, yeah, both players, you know, or Zest at least a little bit in the dark, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much. True, he is kind of playing it more standard, going for Roaches.
And going for scouts. No, True does not have link speed, I've just noticed.
Yeah, he skipped link speed, I imagine, to get that faster Roach Warren.
Probably.
And we'll see what comes out of that, because he is getting out Roaches. He is nicely droned up on 3 bases. So we could see him looking to be a little bit aggressive here with some Roach Ravager.
And now that he sees the Archons, this is absolutely value coming out from True.
Yeah, nicely done. He should be prepared for this.
Oh, and our Queen's ready to intercept the Warp Prism.
Ooh, nice.
And now, this is what we were talking about in the previous game, like, there were no Queens when Zest went into the Archon drop, so Zest could just sort of fly in, juggle to his heart's content. Now that there are Queens, he has to be a lot more careful.
Yeah, and it's so important that he's looking to try and get into the main base. If he does, which he shouldn't.
Nicely done by True. This Warp Prism so low, and it's in the rock in a hard place. I'm gonna have to force a recall coming out. Question mark.
Question marks in the chat. Wow. And what's so important, not just that the Warp Prism got denied to go into the main base, that Warp Prism got denied scouting, as there is a Spire in the main.
And it is. We were talking about Mio Micah, and one of the things that these Southeast Asian or South Asian Zerg players like to do, that a lot of Korean Zerg players like to do, and Zerg players in general like to do. Muta switch. I can't play if that dies, so obviously I'm gonna recall that. Once again, thanks, Maddox.
We appreciate it. Zest commenting on his Warp Prism defense. It does seem like the Warp Prism will spot those Roaches, so he does know about that positioning. But again, these Roaches, they're here to distract. Like, the Mutalisks are what's meant to surprise and deal all the damage in this game.
There's just a little bit of pressure to keep Zest on his toes, to think, like you said, perfect distraction coming out as 10 Mutalisks. 10 Mutalisks are being produced at the same time with link speed. True is looking to go in with his Mutas, deal a ton of economic damage, reinforce his Roaches with a heck of a lot of Zerglings, and just try to go all the way.
What's surprising is, if you look at the third base of Zest, he was terrified about like a Roach roll in. Like, look at how many shield batteries are at his third. Like, he was getting ready for a ground attack. He was terrified
to make it through. And they will distract the army of Zest quite a bit. But Zest, he's filling up his army pretty dang well. Again, he may have overreacted a little bit to the Roaches, but now it's actually paying off. Now he can just have these 3 Immortals here at his base, because the shield batteries are going to keep them well alive. True does get a very good scout. Unfortunately, we do not have Game Heart, so yeah, we'll say a couple of probes died quite a bit, at least 4.
So far, in total, 9 probes have gone down this game. Meanwhile, 10 drones have gone down. So pretty equal when it comes to how much damage they've dealt to each other. And here we see the Mutalisks looking to dive in.
Natural is actually so defensive, but the Warp Prism is about... I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure if it's as valuable, but that definitely puts Zest in the defensive for quite some time.
Yeah.
Could end up backfiring on True, potentially, as Zest is starting his transition to the late game. But the good news is, for True fans, Zest is only on 3 bases. It is really hard to go into a full-on Sky Toss army without at least 4 bases. Ideally, you would have 5 or 6.
Yeah, and we'll see how he does as Zest. He is throwing down his second Stargate to transition. Zest, though, he's looking... sorry, True is looking to try and stop him.
The storms are absolutely massive here, and they actually will...
Oh my God.
They actually wipe out just about everything. Once again, the shield batteries, arguably a bit of an overreaction early game, but it's paying off a lot here for Zest. True. If we look at the units lost tab, that is over 4,000 more minerals, and almost... what is it, 3, 4, 5 times the gas count?
Yeah,
the worst trade in the history of trades.
I question True's decision to dive in there because he scattered all of those shield batteries earlier with his roaches. Like, he knew what kind of defensive setup there was, and still he decided to dive in and attack at the 3rd base location. And that may have been his downfall, because so far these mutalisks, they haven't paid for themselves. They killed that War Prism, that's it. Meanwhile, Zest, he threw down his second Stargate. He's working on his Phoenixes to get that perfect counter, and now True, he needs something else. He needs to try and find some damage.
Yeah, he does. These mutalisks are on a timer. As you were saying, we're getting to the point of the game where Zest has just made the complete anti-mutalisk army. These mutalisks are going to be completely useless once these ranged Phoenixes come in.
Yeah, because they're going to be ranged Phoenixes. They're already Archons and Stalkers as well. Like, all of that put together, these mutalisks are going to have such a hard time. And here we go, the Phoenixes are diving in as well.
They have a True trying to trade, but he's just moving into more of these Stalkers. It's just free damage that Zest is getting out on top of these mutalisks. It's not quite working out. Yeah,
and there we have it. We do see True trying to mix in a couple of Corruptors as well, and they will do quite nicely zoning out the Phoenixes, but he needs something else. What about the ground army, you know? Like, he needs something to complement his Mutalisks and his Corruptors, and so far he just doesn't have much at all. He has a good number of hatcheries, but not really enough workers to saturate them.
No, he does not, and once again, True just sort of slamming his car into a wall, full speed. Hoping to do some kind of damage on it.
Oh god, and now the ground army is coming in. This base is going to be going down for
both
True.
Angles. Yeah, True trying to go for a bit of a counterattack himself, trying to catch out these reinforcing zealots, but just look at the army supply. Again, as we were saying, if you're the Zerg player, even if you're on even army supply, your opponent is ahead.
Yeah, pretty much in this matchup, and the ground army, there's really nothing here to contest it. There are mutalisks, which are nice, but again, with Archons, Stalkers, and Phoenixes, what can these mutalisks do? They try to dive in. They have to be so careful. These units are so delicate, and these Phoenixes, they're just chasing them away.
That they are. That indeed they are, and this ground army, again, completely uncontested. I think the writing is very clear on here, Light. I think we are going to be seeing Zest advance to match point in this best of 5 series.
I think we are. Zest, he's played this out so well, and...
Wowee. Wowee. What a game that we did manage to see. I think Steel summed it up best in chat. True has a very big brain. He opens up his head and takes it out, and he uses it to bash his opponents. True, he was doing so well there, but I don't know, I think a little bit of that bloodlust came over him. He just was ramming supply into Zest's defenses there.
I don't know what he saw that made him think it was a good idea to dive into all of those shield batteries, but he went for it, and he was met with a strong Protoss army. He was met with storms, and he was just completely annihilated in that situation. Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. And this is potentially the final game, guys. Zest is now on match point. If you are cheering there for True, and I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm a little bit biased towards True here. You're gonna we're all gonna have to come together and say, True, take my snacks.
True, he's looking a little bit famished right now. He needs to munch on something if he wants he needs the energy to take on a player like Zest. And to be fair, game number 2 he performed better than game number 1, but it's not quite enough.
Well, here's hoping for the reverse sweep then. But speaking of sweeps and chimneys and whatnot, we are now here on Simulac Rum. Your fiddly by the sea 2 for 3 with me, buddy. Because if you are, then we gotta get ready, throw away your keys, and slap your knee in order to ski. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spotting in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Some would argue the Australia base. We have the red Protoss all the way from the land of I almost said Australia there. Korea! All the way from the land of Korea, representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RY Edge. He is the top player himself. Some would argue he is the best. In fact, many say that he is the best, and I can't really argue with them there. We have Zest. Zest.
Yeah?
Yeah, do the intro, do the intro.
Okay, and sporting in the top left-hand corner of Simulacrum LE, we have the Snack Zerg himself, Bang Tae Soo, representing Psystorm Gaming. It's true.
I was just gonna say, I just imagine Zest sitting there casually sipping a bottle of Dare. Iced coffee. You're like, yeah, I'm Australian. What of it? How do you do, fellow Aussies?
God damn it.
We've seen him in a sombrero, now we just need him in a boonie hat.
Exactly. That's exactly what we need in our lives. And so we do see a little bit of a reversal of roles here, as we do have Zest delaying that natural, forcing True to throw down his base at the third base location instead. As game number 1, we had True going for that hatch block.
Indeed, we did. And actually, I just remember, like, True did not fall to the counterattack. He fell eventually, but not to the counterattack, so that's something.
That's something. That's what I mean. Like, he was playing it fairly well. To be honest, like the Spire was unscouted for the longest time. You know, he had some good Warp Prism defense as well. Like, True was looking good until he wasn't. That's
pretty much the story. Yeah, that's pretty much the story of True in it.
Yeah.
Things are looking good. Then it wasn't.
Yeah, things are looking good. Then not so much.
And Sargi made his life difficult.
I do think it just was some decision making there, some engagements that just didn't go True's way, and it was totally in True's court. He was the one that like made that engagement happen, so it is a little bit on him. I want to put it. So we'll see.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Zest would not have been able to take out that army if True did not throw it away like that.
Yeah.
Which is very, very... Again, always gotta question True. He's almost like Miomaika-ish in that regards, where, you know, we have a team of dedicated scientists. We're analyzing everything, thinking, what led him to this decision?
Yeah. Why?
Why is True is the question.
Yeah. You have this wall of like pictures of True and like queens dancing and like all these things coming together, and in the middle, in the center, is just in giant like black text. Why? Question mark.
I know who's investigating that light. Max Angel. Max goddamn Angel.
Goddamn Angel. He's on the case. Just trying
Might
to
need a little bit of help.
Snack Zerg.
Might need a little bit of help from Miomaika there to the other Enigma Zerg.
Yes, you know what he does? Miomaika, he's in jail. You know,
it's just like Silence of the Lambs.
he's like the previous season's like villain, you know, and he's in jail, and Max Angel, he has to go to Miyamika. He needs his help to figure out what's going on in True's mind. What is his next move?
I need someone just as crazy to help me figure the crazy.
I need your help, Mia.
Alright, speaking of crazy, True, not entirely ballsy this time, does have a couple of sports here. Will be getting his Spire on top of this. Or not Spire, sorry, Lair on top of this. It's just we were talking about Miyamika, so I was like, ah, yes, Spire.
Yes. So we do have True. He is ready for this defense, for the DTs, as the Dark Shrine was thrown down, and more DTs are being morphed for that Archon transition. What is interesting is that, actually, looking at the vision of True still, he has 2 Overlords. He didn't go in for a scout. He had no idea that there was a Dark Shrine. He just threw them down defensively regardless.
Well, you can't DT True twice and get away with it. And now we do see Zest utilizing that Dark Shrine how you're really supposed to be utilizing it. Now morphing them into Archons, there's just not a lot of anything here for True.
Yeah, it looks like in the end he does push Zest away, but like again, those Archons, they just got so much value.
That army's just wiped out. No economic damage yet, other than that early adept harassment. So those Archons pretty much just trying to clean out the army, which again, as a Zerg in an early game or the Zerg player, that's very annoying.
Yeah.
You gotta be using a larva for one or the other, and ideally, you don't want to be messed up like that.
And that harassment hasn't finished. No, Zest, he's still out on the map with these 2 Archons, still continuing to deal more and more damage, clearing up creep, just getting more value, and yeah, this is like this is what you get for this opener. Like, this is what you want from this Dark Shrine opener. It's why it's become more commonplace.
That's how most Protoss players utilize the Archon's creator.
True. This is how it should be. God damn it. As you were just showing us there on screen, the Spire is on the way. But again, though, because of this Archon opener, there are already Archons out on the map, and they do relatively well against Mutalisks. So that's like another like bonus or something else going your way if you went for this opener as a Protoss player.
I'm not along with agreed, and again, that's is sort of showing us here. It allows you to get away with a lot of aggression. He has that recall available just in case things go awry. But I mean, he cleared out the army earlier on. He knows what his position will be like. At the very worst, True is going to be even. And what do we always say to Daylight? An even army supply is not even in the ZVP.
I'm kind of worried. I mean, we do have True engaging. His Ravagers are ready this time, and some decent Biles was able to take out most of the sentries. They are pretty low, but at the end of the day,
force fields are really good, but things are starting to thin out a little bit. Sentries have managed to be taken out. Very good reinforcing warp-ins coming in from Zest. One Archon does go down, but the bulk, the beef of this army is still well alive. Yeah, pulling the boys, not something you ever want to do. A lot of probes also went down. I'm not too sure what happened there.
There was a link run by at the same time, which meant that there were no links here to defend, and it looks like that may have been a mistake as Zest.
Well, it's only a mistake because it didn't work. Yeah, if that did work out, then yeah, that was pretty close until the end. But as we get to it. And there you have it. Zest gonna be taking out True 3-0. He is gonna be your next finalist for tonight's ESL Pro Tour Open Cup 21 Asia. You're gonna be facing Stats in a PvP best of 5. A little bit unfortunate. I'm definitely pretty disappointed. I gotta tell you, just as a True fan, but he made it this far. I don't think a lot of us were expecting him to take out the likes of Armani or Time. And Zest, he's a pretty dang good Protoss player. There's a reason why he has the moniker of the best.
Yeah, he's literally one of the best. It's good that it actually worked out that way. Otherwise, it'd be a little bit awkward. But Yeah, well played by Zest, and True a little bit overestimating himself, as he did send a pretty large Ling force to counterattack and he got a lot of worker kills, but he really needed them at home for defense, as he just didn't quite have enough. He managed to kill all the sentries, which was nice, but at the end of the day, like, the Immortals and the Stalkers held strong for Zest. That Warpism didn't go down either, so reinforcements kept getting warped in, and yeah, that was just really, really solid play coming out of our Korean Protoss player.
Indeed it was, and now we're going into, we're glad that we had a little bit of a reprieve from our curse to always cast PvPs. I think another reason why I personally was cheering for True was just to not have another mirror in the finals, but now here we are, PvP, Zest versus Stats, and two things to keep in mind going into the series, like, one, Zest is still, I would argue, the best PvP player in the world. Historically, he's been the best, and currently, he is definitely up there. Stats just took out Trap 3-0, though.
Yeah,
and Trap's PvP, he's no slouch in that either.
Exactly, like that's the thing when it comes to these the best Protosses in the world. Stats, Zest, and Trap, they do go back and forth in series. You know, some weeks we see one take out the other, then the other takes out the other. I think last week Trap 3-0'd Zest, right? It was something along those lines.
3-1, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very dominant performance. This time they didn't meet each other. Instead, we will be getting into Zest versus Stats, and
which we were denied of last week.
We were denied of, and it's one of these things where the three of these Protoss players, you know, they do have differences in style. They are like top tier Protosses, but they don't play exactly the same. They are known for different things. There's a reason why Stats is known as the Shield of Ire, right? He's very defensive. Yep. Meanwhile, you have Zest, who's a lot more offensive. He's a lot more aggressive. So yeah, we'll see how these two different dynamics meet and compare to each other.
I'm expecting at least one Proxy Stargate versus Proxy Robo game.
Yeah. I imagine so.
I might be lowballing it a little bit, but